Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Steven Inks. My name is Steven, and today we're going to be going over a subject from earlier in the days of this YouTube channel, and that would be making sketchbooks out of loose paper. I did this quite a while back, maybe even almost a year ago on this channel, and I got a lot of comments from you guys, a lot of feedback and suggestions. Some of you are already experts in doing this, whereas I'm just kind of still learning. I've integrated those feedback, and I am now an expert. I'm pretty much a professional sketchbook maker. You're gonna find out. You're gonna see all of my professional non-mistakes that I make. And I thought to myself, it would be really fun to do a sketchbook giveaway. It would be really fun to look at a different kind of paper that could be used for fountain pen, pen and ink drawing, and it would be really awesome if these two things could coincide with a landmark for this channel, a celebration, if you would. And it just so happens that we've got all three of those things today. I have been playing around for a while with this pen and ink paper from Canson. We're gonna look at that. We're gonna make a sketchbook with that, and we're going to do a sketchbook giveaway at the very end of this video to celebrate this channel reaching 900 subscribers. I am blown away by that. I can't believe there's that many people who even want to hear the sound of my voice. So thank you so much, by the way, for reaching that goal with me, and watch on to see how this project went and how you could win the final product. All right, so here is the paper. It says pen and ink on the side here. There's 60 sheets, and it's 80 pound or 118 grams per square inch at 7 by 10 inch paper. So it's a little bit smaller than some other sketchbooks I've seen from Canson. To be honest, I don't really know what to expect, because Canson's one of those companies that goes all up and down as far as the quality of their papers versus the cost. So sometimes you get stuff that's really incredible and sometimes not so much. But I'm gonna start by opening up to this first page. It's very clean and white. The paper feels like paper. It doesn't feel too thick or textured or shiny or slimy like some papers do. So we'll just see what it does with lines. Today I'm going to be using my Lamy 2000 because it's one of my heavier flow pens, and I just want to put the paper through its paces and see what we get as far as feathering and bleed through. So we're going to play around with this a little bit. All right, so the texture goes on really smooth. That's nice for fountain pens, because if the texture is too lumpy or textured, I guess, you end up with kind of some frustrating nib work. Smooth paper is usually better. So there's a couple of 3D shapes. We're just going to do that. This is what I tend to do. Gives me a chance to warm up my hand too, because what I end up doing here is usually not as good as what I end up being able to do in the final drawing. So yeah, sometimes little things like this help you practice and get your hand where it needs to be. Okay, well, so far this feels really nice, actually. It feels like paper, which is a problem that I have with like Tomoe River, and then I've also talked about the Render sketchbook that I received as a gift that didn't really meet my expectations because it was too thick, and then the Tomoe River does have that glossy feel to it, which again, it doesn't feel like paper, and I like the idea of drawing on paper. It reminds me of, you know, doing sketches when I was a kid. So let's just do this little square, and then the real test is when I turn it over, do I get bleed through? Because I don't see a lot of feathering, and we'll look up close. I'll zoom in for you so you can see what I'm seeing, but I don't see feathering, so that's a good sign. And if it's not terrible with bleed through, I think that's also gonna work, because again, this is This pen and other Lamy pens, they tend to have a wetter flow, so you really have to be careful what you use. If you have a pen that has a really wet flow and it bleeds through on everything, I recommend you use like watercolor paper or mixed media paper, and that'll tend to control that extra ink. And some people really like that kind of ink flow where it's super thick and kind of watery almost. And if that's your thing, then great. For me, I like to have a lot of control over what I do, so I don't like my pens to be too juicy. I really do like this Lamy 2000 for its design, how it feels in the hand. It definitely feels like it's worth what I paid for it, but the flow is really heavy. So there we go. All right, let's look at it up close. And if you're seeing what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing feathering along the edges at all. Again, a very thick, wet flow pen. Seems to hold its own. Let's see what the other side looks like. I'm a little bit nervous. Okay, so you can see it on the other side, but it's not bleeding through. As you can tell, it's just dark lines because the paper is kind of thin. But I would draw on the other side of this and I wouldn't see any issues. So I think this paper gets my stamp of approval, which means the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna turn it into a sketchbook like the kind that I like, without all this metal spiral stuff. Stay tuned. So here's my paper. I have folded it in half. There are 10 sheets, so that's gonna be about 40 pages of this kind of compact size to draw with. Should be pretty good. Some of you recall I have done a sketchbook before where I used Tomoe River paper, and it was my first time doing any kind of bookbinding, and many comments below, and even some personal letters telling me all of the mistakes I was making. Thank you, by the way, because you've made me stronger, and now I'm pretty much an expert in bookbinding. So we're gonna do round 2, and it's gonna be perfect. I bought this bookbinding kit on Amazon, and I know all the parts. I'm just gonna go over and show you what they are and how they work and what you do with them. So let's see. First of all, there is there's the plastic bag. So that works like a regular plastic bag. You just open it. And this is the pokey thing. And you take the pokey thing and you poke stuff with it. It's very good. It's also a good tool for self-defense. Got that. Here are the foldy things, and there's a straight foldy thing and a little swirly foldy thing. And the swirly foldy thing is for you know, for swirly foldies. See, I told you I know everything about this. It's gonna be great. Oh, it's plastic bags. Good. I've got some needles, which you'll need in case you'll need them. Or you're making a book, and then you rip a hole in your pants. You can use the needles to fix your pants. It's great. I'm glad they included that. They thought of everything here. I do have some sewing threads, and I think I'm gonna go with this black color and have a look at. Oh, okay, so I can't open it, and then again, but I've got this pokey thing, and you can use the pokey thing for all kinds of poking applications. So there we go. It's nice to have a pokey thing. Very good. Okay. So this is the string I'm going to use. It's waxed, which is good. It's what I would have told them to do if I was the person that made this kit, which I totally could do because I'm an expert in bookbinding, as I have mentioned before. Save that sticker for later. Put it on my skateboard. Anyway, yeah, so this is the string I'm going to use, and I'm going to utilize my foldy thingy. I am not going to use the curvy foldy because not because I don't know what it is, because I totally know what to do with it, but I just don't know what to do with it. So I'm just gonna reinforce these folds that I've already made with these pieces, and I'm gonna put them all together by pushing down on, giving it some decent pressure. I'm getting it a little bit more flat, and that should help me do what I'm trying to do. All right. Yeah, that's much better. Anyway, I'm going to arrange these so that they all fit inside of each other, and you know, because that's what you do when you're an expert bookbinder. That's the first step. Excellent. Look at how fast I'm going. I wouldn't recommend a beginner go this fast when you're putting the book together, because if you go too fast, you could, you give yourself a paper cut or poke yourself with one of the many pokey things. It's really a high-risk job. All right. I've got a little bit of this edge right here, which I am going to cut off later, but for now, we're just going to have a look. Yeah, and so I'm going to use the pokey thing to poke some holes, because that's, again, that's what you do when you've got a pokey thing. Let's see, about here, keeping my fingers away from it, so you don't want to bleed on the paper. Again, more pro tips from me. I'm going to do it all at the same time so that I have the hole in the same place. Big moves. All right, I think I need a one in the center there. I'm going to make these stitches a little bit tighter. Okay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count your holes. Make sure you got enough of them. It's good life advice. Okay, I think I wanted to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I have 8 holes. 8's a good number. And one more. I got it? Okay. 8 holes with a pokey thing. And I also maybe bent the paper so it looks bad. Awesome. There we go. Let's do the sewing thing. Right, so I have my needle threaded with the black string, not tied at the end, and I'm going to show you a stitch that I just made up. I did not look it up online using YouTube videos. Don't listen to those guys on YouTube. They tell you nothing but lies. Here's the stitch that I'm going to do. So taking the, going from the front to back, because I want this knot to be there. Oh, by the way, I put a piece of colored paper on the back just to give it a cover. We'll talk about that later. I go through the back. Okay, and then out the other side. And we're just going to keep doing this. See, it's so simple. I'm surprised nobody else thought of it doing it this way. It's super easy, right? Kind of crazy that I just got into bookbinding and I'm already making up a stitch that is not called a saddle stitch or anything else that they might tell you on the internet. All right, we're just going to keep going through front and back until we get to the end. I think my strings are getting a little off. There we go. All right. It's good to hum to yourself while you're making a book. Make up a little song about books. And I'm going to be at the end here in a little bit. And what we're going to do going back is we're going to look through the other side. And we're going to pick up where we left off over here. All right, so I have these, and I'm gonna make sure they're all lined up nice and tight. If I can. All right. Yes, that looks good to me. All right, now going back through, I'm gonna go through this same hole, but hopefully not breaking or hitting the other string, because that will be a bad thing. There we go, through the other side. And then through this way. Apparently, you're not supposed to let the needle go through the string because that messes it up. If you believe what they tell you on the internet. Okay. And then we're just going back through the way that we came until everything has been stitched together. I like having a knot on the inside because the way I see it with this book, you're probably not going to see this stitch, even though it's not the greatest looking, more than just, you know, when you're on that page. Whereas the back of the book, you're going to see every day when you open it, if you believe that you should draw every day, like they tell you to, again, on the internet. Take that with a grain of salt. Okay. We're almost there. This is taking surprisingly less time than when I did this with a sewing machine, and it's looking nicer. So there you go. Learn from your mistakes, or better yet, learn from my mistakes. It's faster. And one more here. You go through this one with a knot, and I don't remember what I was supposed to do coming back through there. I mean, what my idea was when I came up with this stitch. So I think what I'll do is go back through this one more time. And from there, I'll tie another knot through here, maybe? Clearly you see I'm just making up brilliant things to do as I go with this finishing stitch. Oh, what's that? All right, we're having fun here. We're having fun. That last bit, maybe we'll just put it underneath here, and then we'll tie it up. Oh, that probably will look very nice, very professional, because I'm a professional. In case you didn't know. Yep. And let's do another knot. Look at that. This is great. We'll have this extra knot in here, and the book will be super clunky. Who wouldn't want to win this in a giveaway? Tell you what, not me. I wouldn't not want to win this in a giveaway. Here we go. Okay, having pulled that knot tight, I'm gonna cut it loose. And there we go. I like the idea of having kind of the slightly ugly part just being in the center as opposed to being on the outside, because when it's on the outside, you get to look at it every day. Okay, it's time for the foldy thing. I wonder if I could use the bendy foldy thing. I like it. It's super bendy. Look at how bendy it is. Oh yeah. Okay, so this is partway done. It does have a very sketchbook-like quality, but we're gonna need to do a couple more things to make it really nice. So hold on to that. New tool that I also, in the spirit of the last video that I did, stole from my mom. I'll give it back. The thing that's the advantage here over this, what I did last time, is I clamped the book down to get this edge that didn't make it flat off of the front of the book. But as opposed to clamping it down and having to go like this, you just kind of go like this. We go from this to this, super fancy. And you get some really nice clean lines here. So I'm gonna hopefully this is gonna work just as well. It's holding it down like this, and we're gonna all right, plan B. Okay, now what I've got is a cutting board, pad, what do you call this? Anyway, and this mat knife. And in this case, instead of taking stuff from my mom, I took this from my dad. I've got lots of plans. Anyway, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna hit the edge here by going over it with this knife, and we're just gonna try and keep the natural edge of the sketchbook as I have already cut out some of what I want there. So, you know, everything's going according to plan. Yep. Okay, so with this being done, what I'm gonna end up with is a super smooth, very professional looking, ooh, that looks promising, edge to my sketchbook, including this little chunk right here that looks, again, maybe not what you would expect like in a store, but like it was made by an artisan who's concerned with his craft and is definitely a professional at all things bookbinding. There we go. Tore a corner off my cover, got this going on. It looks fantastic, if I do say so myself. All right. Let's see. Figure out what we're gonna do next. Okay, so I redid the whole thing. Not because I screwed up the old one and tore a tiny piece off the corner and made it look real bad. Of course not, because I just wanted to prove how I could do it again and make it even better. Anyway, the main reason actually why I redid this book, and I used pretty much the same method to do so, was because I got this paper and it was kind of spongy and pulpy, and I didn't like the way that it looked, and I had a couple of kind of indentures. I don't know if that'll even show up on the camera, but a couple of kind of mistakes in how I did and created this sketchbook that made some things go back. So I guess I haven't learned that much after all. Just kidding. I learned so much, and I'm just really good at this now. I'm an expert. I mentioned this before. You know this. Stop questioning me. How dare you? Anyway, and I also found this cardstock that's kind of craft paper colored, and it's very nice to draw on. So I had originally thought, and I am going to be using this sketchbook for a giveaway. I'll probably use this one as soon as my most recent sketchbook runs out, because I do like this paper. I'm going to do a giveaway, and I'm actually going to be drawing on this paper and creating a cover for it, as opposed to my original plan, which was to draw on the inside of the first page and do a little drawing. So I hope you enjoy. We're going to use my TWSBI Go filled with Colorverse Delicious Sleep. And this pen, I think I gave a a lukewarm review on it a couple months ago on my channel, but it is kind of growing on me. It's definitely not my top 5 or my top 10, but it's got its own special qualities. So let's see what I can do with this cover. I don't have a lot to say here. Of course, I'm being sarcastic about my skills, of which I have few when it comes to bookbinding. I gotta say, I do enjoy it. I think I might do it again, and it's really hard to find a nice sketchbook. A lot of the ones that I find are kind of whatever as far as their usability, and usability is to me more important than something being pretty and nice and well put together. I think that helped me along with what I was gonna do with this sketchbook. I had this thought of this idea that's really my slogan almost. Made with love, but not care. I love doing these things, making these things, and I'm not very careful. Anyway, I hope you guys really enjoy this video and enjoy all of the silly jokes I made. That's all I really have to say. It was fun to do. Okay, so that was fun. I took this sketchbook and I turned it into this sketchbook with a little bit of embellishment from myself. You can win this sketchbook by being a subscriber to my channel, leaving a comment below as your entry. Tell me about something that's going on in your life. Tell me what's going on that's good in your life right now, and some extra good can come of it. In that you could win a sketchbook from me filled with the Canson pen and ink paper, which I've been using and enjoying, and a little note from me. So what you need to do in order to enter is please leave a comment within the first 48 hours of this video being posted. I will update the description of the video with the winners, as well as post the name of the winners on my community channel. So once again, please do subscribe, leave a comment below. I have to leave a comment at the end of this video. I'm blown away by the support of this little community, this super positive place to just talk about something we love, about pens, about drawing, and about all the other things that I've been talking about this last couple of years. I really appreciate your feedback, your comments, your encouragement, and my opportunities to give you comments and encouragement. So I'll see you in the chat, and I'll see you around. There's a lot of great things coming towards this channel in the future.